Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 12 of the NordCast. It is January 1st, 2023, the first podcast of 2023. I am your host, Nordic97 here, joined with Carter.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to 2023 NordCast.
And Jack.
What up, everyone? Let's do this.
And yeah, we're back for episode number 12. It's a new year, so some fun stuff to talk about. But first off, we're going to start off with some fun stuff from us. Guys, what was your favorite Christmas present this year? And kind of just go in depth with it. Kind of talk about what you got this year and what your favorite gift was.
All right. Well, I might. It's close, but I'm gonna go. I got a Cubs jersey, Ian Happ, and it was it's like the new City Connect jersey, so it's pretty sweet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Carter?
So I got a Nintendo Switch from my dad, and I was like pretty sweet because I'm like absolutely nasty at Mario Kart. But I think one of my favorite things, and I'm gonna use it to a Nord sometimes. I think. I got a massage gun, so now.
Oh, I did too.
I'm just gonna start massaging in the middle of the pod, or I'll just do this.
I got a really similar one, Carter.
Dude, that's so weird. Why do you need that? It's so weird.
Listen, Nord, when you're dealing with enough stress and carrying this pod, you'll need one too.
Oh, shut up. All right. You know
That's why me and Jack have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite will probably honestly be this. Like, this is literally huge.
Okay, for the audio listeners, it's a
What
phone.
is that? 13.
Yeah, it's a phone. For the audio listeners, it's a phone. It's a 13. This is huge. Like, when you look at my phone quality, like previously, terrible. Absolutely awful. I had this iPhone with the good old Claude Giroux phone case. Really bad quality. This, though, is heavily improved. Ooh, you got the Zegras phone case.
Yeah.
Audio
I can see my reflection.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
God, look at that handsome guy in the reflection of my
Clean phone.
But yeah, I also did get 5 jerseys, which I thought was pretty cool.
5.
A
Really?
ton.
Yeah, I got a lot of jerseys this year. We got pretty stacked up. And a nice Christmas present for us was the 2023 World Juniors, which started off with a bang. There was a lot of interesting upsets in the first 2 days. Switzerland upset Finland in overtime. I'm actually shocked Switzerland's in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I am too.
They got a solid roster, man.
Not gonna lie, they do. And then Canada got upset by Czechia. I was shocked that didn't even happen. But the rest
honestly,
were a little bit controversial.
Yeah, I was shocked too. But when you take a damn ton of penalties and you don't have Bedard on the ice, who's shown in this tournament that why he's the best player in the dub right now, yeah, you're not going to score. And then also Czechia had like pretty much, I think it was 19 returning guys. They're
Wow, really?
Czechia is so underrated, honestly. I mean, like when I go into my predictions later, it doesn't say that, but they are super underrated because they beat the USA last year in the quarterfinals, and now they beat Canada. So I think that's pretty impressive, and I don't think they went undefeated in this tournament, but they played pretty well.
No, they didn't.
And then, of course, the USA got upset by Slovakia, which was one of the worst games I've ever seen the U.S. play ever.
Yeah.
We also almost got upset by Latvia. Like, Latvia literally, was competitive. And
until that third period, and then...
Yeah, until that third period, they just died. I'm like, this is the most painful game I've ever watched as a Latvian fan. But yeah, anyways, we're going to take a look at the team standings here. So, in 10th place was Austria. I don't think they won a game at all this tournament. They really didn't play good at all. Same with Latvia. I don't think they won a game either. They had an overtime loss. They came close in a shootout. Heartbreaking as a Latvian fan. Germany, I think, won 1 game against Austria. So they're in the quarterfinals. Switzerland actually was better than I thought they would be. I actually had Switzerland missing and Latvia making it. I know that might sound a little bit biased, but I was counting on Latvia to be the underdog, but Switzerland, I guess, technically was also the underdog. 6th place, actually kind of shocking they were this low, is Sweden. I figured they'd be a little bit better. They were still good, but they weren't shockingly good. So that is kind of interesting there. Then 5th place, you had Finland. So obviously Finland, a really solid roster as well. Fourth place, the United States. And then probably the two biggest surprises in 3 and 2, Slovakia and Czechia, which I think is shocking that they're that high. A lot of people had the United States and Sweden and even Finland over those two teams. And it's shocking that both of them are that high. And then, of course, in number 1, you have Canada. So it's been a pretty fun tournament so far. I watched about half of the games. It was a lot of fun, especially being off this whole week from school. Pretty much all I did was watch the World Juniors this week.
Yeah.
It was fun.
World Juniors, it's my favorite tournament. I love it so much. Just like how you just get the entire country behind you. It's awesome. It's my favorite.
And it was like my first ever year actually paying attention to the World Juniors and actually enjoying it. And it's actually a lot of fun to watch. Watching some of these young players play. It's actually pretty fun. Now, when you go into the players, there's one particular player who has played absolutely unbelievable, and it's Connor Bedard. 6 goals, 12 assists for 18 points. He tied the single game performance record. And did he break the Eberle record for most goals, or is he?
No. So he is tied for the goal record in all time Canada, and he is also tied for the points record for Canada all time.
Now, do those points continue into the quarterfinals, or is it just
it's for the entire tournament? So quarterfinals.
He's easily gonna break that. He did that in 4 games. Unreal.
For sure.
Like, honestly, like I've said this before, but honestly, Bedard kind of reminds me of like Kobe Bryant. Like, I mean, like the overall mentality and the overall skill, he just kind of reminds me of Kobe. And I mean, like you see Bedard breaking and tying all these records, no emotion whatsoever. And
I'm just realizing that.
And that was kind of Kobe in the NBA as well. And I mean, like, there's always that one iconic clip where like he got interviewed by a reporter where they were up 2-0. I don't know anything about basketball, so I have no idea who they were up 2-0 against. But like he got interviewed by him and he's like, "Why aren't you smiling?" And he's like, "What's there to be happy about? Job's not finished." And that's kind of the Bedard mentality right now. And I love it. I love seeing that. And Bedard could be as good NHL wise as Kobe was NBA wise, obviously.
Well, one thing with Connor Bedard is currently he is on pace to break the all-time World Junior Championship points record held by Forsberg.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was thinking about making a TikTok about that. He has 31 points, right? So
I think so.
He likely could like reach 40. Like he's
for sure.
What's he on pace for? I know we don't like the on pace stuff, but
I think he was averaging 4.5 points per game this tournament.
It's realistic because how many games are left. So I think that's viable.
He's got 3 games left, and I don't even know how many points behind he is, but holy, he has really turned it on this tournament.
I'm looking at this here. Some notable players from other teams. I'm not going to mention any more players from Canada. Shout out to Stankoven. Jimmy Snuggerud is third in scoring for USA. He has 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points. Jensen Ludvig, I might have said that right, defenseman from Sweden, is actually leading Team Sweden and is 6th in scoring with 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points. David Spacek, I might have said that wrong. I'm probably saying a lot of these players' names wrong. From Czechia, he has 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points. Peter Repsik. I'm saying these names wrong. He has 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points, and I'm not even gonna try that. But yeah, shout out to all the other players who are playing well. Goalie stats. We'll take a look at that before we go make our predictions for the remaining games. The best goalie this tournament's been Jamie Lempinen. If I'm correct, he was the one goalie who had 2 straight shutouts to start off the campaign. So he had a 1.0 goals against average, 55 shots on goal, only had two goals against. These stats are like different from NHL, so I can't tell what the heck's going on. But he was pretty good this tournament. I think he had 2 straight shutouts. Very solid for Team Finland there, 100%. Anyways, we'll go take a look at the games. Let me pull these up real quick for the quarterfinals. So it's actually pretty interesting. We're going to start off with Finland versus Sweden. Actually, fun fact, these two countries are a part of the Nordic region. So it's a Nordic matchup that we're going to see in the first round of the tournament. So Who do you guys having winning that? Is it going to be Finland or is it going to be Sweden? Whoever wants to go first.
Probably Finland, but I'm a World Juniors casual, so
I got Sweden.
It's tough to say. I'm probably gonna go Finland just because I don't know. Sweden against Canada, they didn't look that impressive against Canada. Again, Canada's a powerhouse. I get that. They still didn't look impressive. They weren't getting as many shots as they probably should have. Canada had 2 or 3 goals before Sweden even had a shot on net. So I'm gonna take Finland in that one.
I guess that's viable, but whatever. Next up, Germany versus America. Germany, I think, only won 1 game, and it was against Austria, if I'm correct. So, who do you guys have winning that? I'm gonna go the obvious pick, America, of course.
USA.
Yeah, it's time to shock the world here.
Okay.
Germany.
No, US.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, like Germany. I mean, like the games they've played, they got killed by Canada. I can't even think of who else they played.
It doesn't matter. They got killed.
I think that, and they beat Austria. I think that's the only game they've won, though. Oh wait, they lost to Sweden 1-0. So I think
they kept it close with Sweden.
They could upset America. I mean, America lost to Czechia last year, so anything could happen. But yeah, I think America wins it. Next up, Canada versus Slovakia. I'm going to go with the obvious pick, Slovakia. Just kidding. Canada, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
Canada.
they're on a roll. If they lose to Slovakia, I'll be blown away. But
Yeah.
Jack, who do you got?
Yeah, I got Canada.
Obviously, and Carter.
You don't even have to ask me.
Yeah. Carter's got Canada. And then Switzerland versus Czechia. I'll let you two go first.
I'm gonna go Czechia.
As much as I really want to go Czechia here, I'm gonna take an upset here and take the Swiss.
I'm also gonna take an upset and go Swiss.
Yes.
Honestly, like the Swiss, I think are such an underrated team, and I think they have a lot of potential. And I definitely think they could upset a team like Czechia. Now, when you go to the semifinals, things will get interesting. But however, from there, I'm basically just going to ask you all, who do you guys think will win medals? Because I mean, I think we all have different picks for semis, so it's kind of difficult to figure that out. So
yeah,
who wins bronze? Who do you guys think will win bronze?
Finland. Yeah.
Carter?
Yeah, I'll take Finland.
I got America winning it because obviously I'd Finland getting knocked out by Sweden. Who do you got, silver?
USA.
US.
I got Sweden. And then gold, I think we all know who we have gold.
Yeah, Canada.
This is finally the year that Canada will beat the US in the finals. This is the year.
I don't even have the U.S. making it to the finals. I have Sweden upset.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so and then obviously I think we all know who the MVP would be, Connor Bedard. I mean, like, he's been unbelievable, and by the end of this tournament, he could hold the record,
a boatload of records for just World Juniors.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's absolutely unreal, and I think honestly, I mean, like this is just a good promotion for him. To show show the NHL what he's capable of. So, yeah, thanks again.
He's number 1 overall.
All right. Anyways, any last thoughts on the World Juniors? You guys got anything more of that? Nope.
I don't.
Anyways, turning the tide over here to the NHL and not just a silly old tournament. Just kidding. It's not a silly old tournament. Just a United tournament that happens every year. We'll turn to the NHL. The Carolina Hurricanes are on an absolute tear right now. 11-game win streak, which is absolutely unbelievable for a Hurricanes team who has suffered some injuries and kind of looked inconsistent to start the year goaltending-wise. However, they've really picked it up. They are 25-6-6 for 56 points. They are just 4 points behind the first-place Boston Bruins. And honestly, I'm just going to press on stats here real quick. I got to give a big shout-out to this guy in net. I don't know if you guys know who he is. You guys might struggle to pronounce his name. Piotr Kochetov. Just an absolute unit in net for the Carolina Hurricanes. 15 games played, 10-1-4. a 1.94 goals against average, and a .928 save percentage, and 3 shutouts. He's been unbelievable for Carolina, and has been one of the sole players through this win streak. Also, a big shout out to Antti Ranta as well, who has played the same amount of games, 10-2-2, a 2.62 goals against average, and a .897 save percentage. Anderson, I think, is hurt, if I'm correct, so that's why he's not playing any games. Now, I'm going to ask you guys this question. You're going into the playoffs. All 3 of your goalies are available. It's kind of like in the Nedeljkovic situation back in 2021. Who are you taking to be your starter against whatever team you're playing, whether it's like, I don't know, Boston, or if it's like a bottom-feeding team like, I don't know, Ottawa. Not Ottawa. Who's like at the wild card? Bottom-feeding team like Detroit, I guess. They're not bottom-feeding, but like middle of the road, barely made the playoffs. Who are you taking? Who would be your starter?
I would just ride the hot hand. I couldn't pick one right now, but if we're closer to playoff time, I go with whoever's playing the best, to be honest with you.
That's fair. I mean, like, honestly, like, so far, I'd probably go with Kachetov, but
Yeah.
I mean, it is halfway through the year, so I guess that is kind of a dumb question to ask.
Here's one thing is like as much as you want to ride the hot goalie, and probably that would be the move there for the Carolina Hurricanes. At the same time, Anderson does have a little bit of playoff experience.
That is true, but is that playoff experience, like, good playoff?
No, because he was on the Leafs.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he didn't play with Carolina during that last year. Kachetov actually came in and played some playoff games as well. And it was mainly kind of just Ranta in that too. So who knows?
Yeah, honestly, it's hard to say. It'd probably be smarter to just ride the hot goalie and Kachetov, but again, you never know.
Anyways, looking at some of the players who are playing pretty well, Marty Necas is already on pace to break pretty much every single one of his player stats. 37 games played, 16 goals, 20 assists for 36 points in just 37 games played. Now, I think we talked about this when we talked about all the other teams, but you don't see one specific goal scorer, topping this Carolina Hurricanes team. Like, you don't see someone like McDavid just absolutely running away with the points, or like someone like, I don't know, Pastrnak, who's scoring a lot of goals. No, you really see like a team effort. And that just goes to show how good this team is built. They don't have like one dominant star who was playing above everybody else. No, everybody's kind of at the same level, and it's effective. And I think that's the biggest thing with this Hurricanes team that makes them above all the other teams when it comes to contending for a Stanley Cup. They're a lot more deeper, and they have a lot more options if a player gets hurt. It's kind of like Colorado, where they have a lot of other good players, but obviously on Colorado, you have a guy like McKinnon or McCarr that rises up above everybody else. But on a team like Carolina, you don't have that. So I think that's definitely a very different approach Carolina has taken, and they've built this team so well that honestly, I think come playoff time, they could be a cup team, unless if they get upset by the Rangers again. Who knows? But yeah, you guys got any more thoughts on the Carolina Hurricanes and their 11-game win streak? How long do you guys think it'll last?
Oh, man. You asked the same thing with the Devils, too, and I was one off, I think.
I think you were one off.
I'm going to say this is a better team than the Devils, so I'm going to say 15.
15? Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to say 15.
Wow. I give it till their next game against the Rangers.
Yeah, they played
I like the Rangers. I think they've started to find their groove, and I think that they'll take them down.
Yeah, they have. I 100% agree with that. But yeah, anyways, turning the tide here, over to other NHL news. Alex Ovechkin has hit 802 goals and is now second all-time in the NHL goalie list. If I'm correct, he's 89 goals away from passing Gretzky. I could be wrong on that number, but he is 89 goals away, which is absolutely unreal. Now, I think we asked in the last pod if you guys think he could obviously reach it. So, yeah, of course he's going to reach that record, without a doubt. It may just take a couple of years, but if you guys could pick like a certain year when it could happen, like 2025, 2026, like he is kind of getting up there in age and he has 3 years left on his contract. How long until he reaches this? Like, he obviously will reach it this season or next season, but like, What do you guys think?
Yeah, like you said, getting up there in age. Probably like 2.5 years.
I
Like he'll
could
probably hit it at the end of like I don't know 2 seasons from now.
I could see that. I mean, like, if he keeps averaging this 40 goal per game pace, he'll definitely reach the record. But I mean, like, it's difficult to play at that fast of a pace for so long, obviously. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's definitely a big thing there. But I mean, like, honestly, I really don't know, to tell you the truth. But yeah, real honestly, that could go anyway.
yeah.
Um, there's not really. I mean, like, honestly, apart from like the World Juniors, there really isn't that much news, really, unless if I'm
Yeah,
forgetting
because
something.
hockey took like a decent break during Christmas and stuff, and
Yeah,
that was kind of when we
Yeah, they did.
shut her down too. So
yeah, pretty much nothing's happened. However,
Yeah.
though, the Maple Leafs were fined $100,000 for a CBA violation. They traveled to St. Louis at 10:30 p.m. on December 26th instead of 12 o'clock a.m. on December 27th. And it caused them to get fined $100,000 because that breaks the CBA rule of no team events between the 24th and the 26th. Now, I kind of think this is stupid to fine them $100,000 when they're only an hour and a half off. And like, what are they going to do at 10:30 at night besides party? Besides either party
I
or
don't know.
fly to St. Louis? It really doesn't make sense to me. I mean, like, I get maybe punishing them a little bit, but $100,000.
100K, that's a pretty big slap on the
Yeah,
wrist.
it's a lot of money. And then they also fined Sheldon Keefe for yelling at the referees during the game against the Blues. So it's just kind of stupid. And then you see the Coyotes, and they gave away all
Jerseys.
these Kachina jerseys. Well, no, they weren't jerseys. They were like sweaters. They looked like jerseys, but they weren't like jerseys. And apparently that costed them 70 grand or 700 grand. 700 grand. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
For a game against Toronto too, which I think is kind of funny.
Bro, save that for your arena.
Yeah,
Yeah, really.
Like,
I thought it was really funny. Definitely. Let's take a look here. It really isn't that much. Joe Pavelski signed a 1 year, $3.5 million deal. He just keeps on signing 1 year.
I know.
I mean, like, I love the guy. I think he's still putting up pretty good numbers.
Mhm.
Also, I'd like to bring this up too. This was a funny thing. On December, it doesn't tell me, 3 days ago, so like December 29th or around there, the Pittsburgh Penguins were up 4-0 against the Detroit Red Wings, okay? And the Red Wings came back and tied it 4-4. Heading into overtime, Red Wings player Jake Wallman scores the overtime winner, and guess what he does? He hits the gritty. He hits
Yeah.
he hits the gritty. And that's the first time ever the NHL or the gritty has ever been featured in the NHL, if I'm correct.
That was great.
Which I thought was very, very funny. I mean, like,
Yeah.
when I saw it, I'm like, oh my god! And then the call from Chris Kelly, I think is his name, was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll be in NHL 24 if it already isn't in NHL 24. So yeah. But apart from that, there really hasn't been much of anything. I mean, apart from Bedard with like the all-time, point thing and like tying the Canada point record, there really hasn't been anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll conclude this segment of the pod and we'll come back and talk about the struggles of the New Jersey Devils and the downfall of the Florida Panthers. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. So we do have something we need to talk about before we go into other teams' conversations. Connor McDavid, not the Oilers. Connor McDavid has been absolutely unbelievable. Honestly, playing at an unbelievable pace. He has required the third fewest games in NHL history to reach 70 points with 37. First is Mario Lemieux at 25, and second is Jaromir Jagr with 34. Both on the Pittsburgh Penguins in the same year, which is also impressive. But I mean, Is this surprising? Not really. I mean, like McDavid obviously playing at once again another unbelievable level, and really, if it's taking him the fewest games to get to 72 points now, how many points could he have by the end of the year? Could he peak at like 130? Maybe.
He could.
Maybe higher,
Higher.
Carter? Really? How high?
Oh yeah. Honestly, he can hit 140. I think 140 is I don't think it's his peak because I think he can get higher than that. But I think that this season, anything below I think 135, honestly, with the pace that he's starting at, kind of a disappointment. But it's also not a disappointment because 135 points, you're not going to be upset with that. But
Yeah, I mean, like you wouldn't even be you if the season ended. I don't think people would be upset with that now.
no, but at the same time, I really want to see him get 140, so it's kind of like a bias thing. But at the same time, I think he can definitely hit 140. I think 145 is like max for him this season.
Yeah, honestly, like it's absolutely unbelievable. The pace that he's playing at, and I think he could go even more. Honestly. But yeah, any last thoughts on Connor McDavid? Just wanted to kind of like shout that out before we get into the final topics, which won't take us all too long. Any last thoughts? Nope.
Nope.
No.
All right, so we're gonna change tides here. Talking about a team that kind of has fallen off a little bit. The New Jersey Devils have kind of fallen in the league standings. They are 2-6-2 in their last 10. 2-6-2, which they were even worse. They were like 1-8-1, I think, in their last 10 previously. So I'm gonna honestly, I mean, like they've been losing to good teams. Like they lost to Carolina. In fact, my light just turned off. In fact, it like went to a shootout. I don't know what the heck. I think the battery died on it because it's battery powered. So like they went to a shootout against Carolina, and they obviously lost that in their last game. So obviously, you kind of wonder, is this just a slump? Or could this be foreshadowing what could happen for the rest of the season? Because when you look at other teams, you look at the Anaheim Ducks, they were a team that was really good in the first half of the year, and they fell off on the second half. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is a slump, or could it be foreshadowing?
Well, they're definitely still in the race. So, yeah, I don't know. Still a solid team, just a rough stretch. I feel like every team's going to go through a rough stretch at some point, and I think this is just it for them. I still think they're a solid team.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, like I'm kind of wondering, if this could be that, but I think that they're solid enough that they could stay afloat. But I also thought that for Anaheim too. What do you think, Carter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. They're definitely not out of it. At least this could just be like another like rough slump that like some teams usually go through, even when they start out hot. I know that we talked about them like earlier in like our like podcast stuff in our earlier episodes, talking about how like they're probably like they were like one of the best teams in hockey right now. They're still like a very good team. They're still like playing well stats wise too. Um, they're ninth in goals, fourth in goals allowed, so they're still playing well. They're just not. They don't quite have that split edge in a specific game that's just kind of defying their losses.
Yeah, so really, I wonder if this could change the tide for them. But I think they'll be fine, in my opinion. I mean, like that Metro division, however, is so like competitive that like you really can't afford to lose. I mean, like the Islanders are kind of showing that. Like they started off the first 2 months playing pretty well. They were pretty good. Now they've fallen to sixth in their division, and they've haven't been really that good. And I mean, like honestly, like those six teams couldn't compete for playoff spots. So really, it's going to come down to the wire, and I think every game counts. But I still think the Devils will be fine. I think they also have a decent cushion ahead of a lot of other teams besides Washington that could I think it would take them to lose a lot more games for them to be on a good pace. So yeah, I'm kind of wondering if this could be the turnaround for that.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, any last thoughts on the New Jersey Devils and their overall, slump?
Yeah,
No,
not from me.
no,
Right.
they'll get out of it, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on here. I want to talk about a team who was first in the league last year, and now they're middle of the road, below 500. They're pretty bad. The Florida Panthers. Nah, yeah. And I mean, like, this all like goes back to the offseason where they lost so many players: Claude Giroux, Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, so many other forwards. They obviously got Matthew Tkachuk, which in the long run, they probably did win that trade. And honestly, right now that trade is kind of looking like a lose-lose deal because Huberdeau hasn't been that good. Weegar's been all right. Kachuk's been good, but he hasn't been like as good, technically. People said Florida would win it due to the term that Huberdeau and Weegar had. Which, let's face it, like that would be like $16 million that Florida would have to take on, which I think they would rather sign Kachuk to 8,000. Wait, did I say 16,000? Crap. I meant 16 million.
16,000.
Yeah, 16,000.
16,000. That's a pretty good contract for them.
That's a great contract. Yeah,
Yeah.
two really good players. I think they would rather do 8 million than 16 million, not 6 million. That's 6. Yeah. But right now they're 16, 18, and 4 with 36 points. They have lost 2 straight games. They have not played good. Not at all. So I want to know your guys' thoughts. Could you have seen this coming, or could you have not seen this coming given the losses they have? Because I think when we made our pot with the division predictions, we actually did have them finishing worse or in the standings. I think we all had them around 6th. I think Jag might have had them higher, but I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Could you guys have seen this coming, or was this?
Yeah, I kind of did, not this bad really, but I did think they were going to drop the division just a little bit just because it's such a powerhouse over there. But yeah, obviously a really disappointing team. Yeah, I think we all expected more from them, just because of what they did last year. Maybe just a little bit of a hangover from last year, but yeah, this is still a good team on paper, and they just have not been putting up numbers that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, honestly, it's really just hasn't been the team that we've seen. And of course, they have so many injuries too. Like that doesn't help. Hornquist on LTR may never come back. Duclair's return is coming soon, but I honestly don't think that will help. Really, that won't help all too much. But yeah, everybody who was really good last year is kind of seeming down. To be honest, so I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Carter, what do you think about the Florida Panthers overall?
I don't know. They sold a lot last year to make a deep run, and that did not work
Yeah,
out
that
for
did not
them.
go well for them.
Yeah, they got swept. They got swept by
Yeah.
Tampa, and I mean, like that was their best chance. Whether they,
Yeah.
I thought they would have a couple of good years ahead of them because they still had some solid players.
They spent everything.
Yeah,
They
they have
spent
no options.
Yeah, like they traded for Ben Sherrod. They gave a first round pick for him. No, look at the Montreal Canadiens right now. They're laughing. They're laughing because right now Montreal's only 3 points behind them.
Exactly, like
Like,
Montreal, which is honestly insane, and some of the bottom feeding teams are as well. Like Arizona, 5 points behind. Like
yeah,
if Florida keeps losing at the pace they are, and Arizona's playing pretty solid. They're not solid, but like they've been playing okay lately. Like Florida could be like down below in the league, honestly. And you think that'd be fine because like, oh yeah, we have draft picks. Nope.
no, they
They
got
don't
nothing.
they
Yeah.
got like when we say they have nothing, they have nothing. Like they don't have assets, they don't have draft picks, they got nothing. I don't even know where they're
They
like,
hardly have like prospects.
no, they really don't. I mean, like all of the prospects that they had graduated to the NHL already. Like Lundell's already
Yeah.
there, Knight's there. And I guess that is kind of positive because you got some young forwards and players in that lineup, but still, you still got a long way to go before you're back to where you were last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they traded Cole Schwinn, who was a promising prospect too. And there he goes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is a tough look for Florida, especially if they keep like losing. It's going to be dark days in Florida then.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is gonna be awful for Florida if it keeps on going downwards.
Yeah, like honestly. But I mean, like, and like not having any draft picks too, it really hurts them. I don't even know where this year's draft pick is. I think it might be in Montreal for the Sherrod trade. I don't
So.
actually. It might. I have no clue. I have no clue where any of their draft picks are. Like I know one of them's in. I know one of them's in Montreal because the Monahan trade that sent the Florida pick to Montreal. But like, yeah, they're kind of really. They really screwed themselves over for like the next couple of years. Yeah, they have nothing to look forward to.
Not at all.
Yeah. Alrighty, so to wrap up this podcast, I want to talk about something that I completely missed in the headlines. Alexis Lafreniere was scratched for a game against the Rangers. I don't know if he's back in the lineup. He might be, he might not be. I think he is. However, I do want to talk about the Rangers struggling to develop prospects. Now, if you guys saw my TikTok, I was obviously wrong about, Lafreniere taking a step back this season. He's kind of taken a step up. I don't know where I got taken a step back from. He's actually played all right this season, comparatively speaking. Like he had 31 points last year. He's already at 17. However, Gallant takes him out of the lineup, but he hasn't scored a goal since like early December. So I definitely think that like that does play a role. And you look at all the other prospects too. Vitaly Kravtsov, Nils Lundqvist got dealt. Capo Caco. They cannot develop prospects at all. Like they have struggled so hard the past couple of years to develop prospects. Like Lafreniere was praised to be such a good player, and I mean, like he hasn't been bad.
But for what he was like supposed to be, he is bad. He is just mid.
Yeah, he's just really not been that good at all. He's playing like a third liner, and like I will say this though, you have Kreider and Panarin on that side that he plays on, so obviously it's going to be difficult for you to get top 6 minutes. So honestly, I mean, like that does play a role in it, but then again, all those other players playing pretty bad. Like Capo Caco, he has every chance to get that first line center role. He hasn't. So, like, I don't know. And then Kravtsov as well wanted to leave the Rangers, probably for this reason. And then he obviously came back because he couldn't get a contract. Lundqvist also wanted to leave too. It's just like they have so many young players, but also so many like old and established, well, not old players, but like established and like good players. That like there isn't room for those players to succeed on, getting chances, really. So I think that's definitely a big problem. And I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, they just can't. I don't know what it is with them, but they just can't develop. Like that's hard. Like when you have 4 top 10 forward picks, sorry. How are not one of these 4 elite? How?
Yeah,
These are top 10 guys in their draft, and you aren't able to develop them?
Yeah,
especially Lafreniere and Capo Caco. Those 2 were destined to be bona fide superstars by now. Yeah, and they're not?
Yeah.
Exactly. Even if one of those players, if like 1 or 2 of those players was and like even if it was Lafreniere or Caco, you'd be like, fine, okay. Not every player is going to pan out the way you want them to. It just sucks that we picked them so high in the draft. But like the majority of their prospects have not panned out. The only one that I can actually think of that has actually like done pretty solid in the NHL is Braden Schneider, and he's only played a little bit on that blue line for the Rangers. He was good in that playoff run. Mm-hmm. Apart from that, nothing. Lundqvist is in Dallas. He's playing all right. Yeah. So, and then you have Brennan Othmann too coming into the lineup. What good?
Yeah, he's playing really well in the World Juniors right now. So hopefully they don't butcher him.
Yeah, I like Othmann, so I hope he does pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah, any last thoughts on the Rangers or anything else?
Yeah, no.
Nope.
All right. That'll conclude episode number 12 of the NordCast, the first podcast of 2023. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you all very much for listening. We do greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next pod. Adios.
Peace.